Well, we are getting down to the nitty-gritty here at Gulfstream Park West as we take a look at a live shot, 11:45 a.m. on the nose on this Friday, November the 27th. 2 days remain here in Miami Gardens at good old GPW. We are fast, we are firm. You can see partly cloudy skies, but a nice day. I mean, very comfortable, no humidity. And we set sail. Again, the magic number with Jason Blewett and Ron Nicoletti, and hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. And that goes for you, Ronnie, of course, in Castle Nicoletti over in Weston. But we're down, man. The final 20 races over the next day and change.
Yeah, we're going out with a bang. Like you said, there's 20 races, but we got lots of action. We got a mandatory payouts tomorrow. Lots of things going on today. And there you see it, the mandatory payouts on Saturday. So Rainbow Six, Late Pick 5, Super High 5, everything must go.
It's all got to go on that final Saturday, the final day forever here at Gulfstream Park West. Now, we do end with a bang, as Ronnie had mentioned a few moments back, because not only do you have the mandatory, you've got that ever-exciting build-up into the opening day of the championship meet this coming Wednesday, December 2nd, and that runs through, of course, the Florida Derby towards the tail end of March. Won last Florida Derby by Tiz the Law. Big doings. That is a Wednesday card, by the way, day number 1. That will be drawn later this afternoon, and we're excited about that, and for good reason, Ronnie, because it'll be great getting back over in general at Gulfstream Park. And off that Wednesday, boom, you're right into the first major day with 9 stakes on that Saturday Claiming Crown afternoon.
Yeah, Claiming Crown, and we've been talking about this all the past week. How many fantastic entries? What is it, 270 or 80, you said, or something like that? And just 9 stakes. That is opening Saturday, December 5th. Can't wait for that. Always a great day. 12 horses guaranteed in just about every race.
No doubt, which is probably somewhat reminiscent or similar to the Stronach 5. I mean, you've got some jam-packed fields, certainly on our end. We've got 2 races from GPW in the mix, races 8 and 9 on this 10-race Friday here, and both of them are not layup 5-horse fields by any stretch. The other 3 races from Laurel Park. And I'm predicting, Ronnie, an easy 400, if not over a $500,000 up for grabs with that carryover.
Yeah, every time we have that, we got $91,000. They didn't hit it last week, so coming in, and it could be at least that, I'm venturing to say, and it's a tough sequence, but you get paid very well if you can figure it out.
You definitely do. I know you're going back to a horse in our 9th race, the co-feature on today's card. You liked a lot last time, who really suffered a pretty brutal beat, a horse that ran big in Cantharos' image, and he's back in a good 9th race turf sprint for trainer Steve Kosaris. We begin, though, on the turf, in fact, with the Friday opener at about 12:40 Eastern, a little less than an hour from now, and I feel pretty comfortable really spreading in this race. It's just that kind of a field, and a race by and large that is just simply dominated by first-time turfers. I mean, horses completely unknown on the grass, with exception, of course, the current 8-5 favorite in the 1 Starship Enterprise, who's a major player. So I've got, again, 3 first-time turfers along with Steve's horse, Steve Dwoskin, on the rail. My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is going to be a massive favorite, and maybe you can find better 2-5 favorites in the grand scheme of things, but she's only got to be as good as that field she's in against, and does look like a field where she faces 5 that she just towers over. I singled her, and then I've got coverage the remainder of the way. Nothing really too wacky, although I think Steve Dwoskin's horse, Choose Joy, will be at least 3rd choice in the 4th. That filly is the number 2, and I know she doesn't have the resume of, say, the 3 It's My Lucky Charm or the 4 Dreamery, but I think she can wire that field, and perhaps we have not seen her best yet. You've also got a couple of Rohan Crichton trained runners in the early pick 5 as he tries to build upon a current 2-win lead in the trainer standings over Antonio Sano and Safi, who, speaking of 2s, Safi does have a 1-2 punch in this first race, sending out both the 4 Fate of Ophelia, who I have in the 2nd spot. He's also got the 6 Kinky Frolic, and again, they make up one of a pretty bulky layer of first-time turf horses and/or first-time starters. And I see, Ronnie, you took one of the first-time starters, that is, who may in a race where there's a lot going on in terms of just bloodlines, you may have the best pedigree here, certainly on the female side with Brendan Walsh's horse in the 8 Marlborough Road. This dam has been very solid. There are some nice multiple stakes winning turf horses in the immediate family.
Yeah, she's a half-sister to a pair of graded stakes winners on the turf. Debuting for Brendan, the trio of solid Palm Meadows workout showing in preparation for this debut. I just thought she was pretty interesting. I was curious to see if she was going to take some money, and I'm so glad that you used this horse on your ticket too, because I wasn't sure. I usually leave all that breeding up to you, but I just like the breeding on this horse.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I do. The dam is 24, so she's no spring chicken, and maybe this isn't a barn that pops with regularity with firsters, but I did include that horse out of the respect for Brendan and again, the female family. I'm taking a shot with the 5 Super All-Star, who's 6-1 right now. The dam, there's not really any immediate turf pedigree on the female side. This is the first foal out of a horse by Smart Strike, who only ran 3 times and never won. But the second dam is by Cozine, and there's just a lot of grass pedigree there. And Mark Cassie's barn seems to have come on in a big way. And we both have, Ronnie, capping our respective tries. We have this filly by Honor Code, who we're going to look at. Now, this is 3 back. You got to go back, and you really do get a little bit of a sense at how frustrating and just how wet and rainy a season it's been here at Gulfstream Park West in looking at the 2 recent off-the-turf races for Starship Enterprise. And I think she has shown, as she cranks up with that run in between and the white blinkers and orange cap, she's not a dirt horse, but this was a very good effort against a good field and a nice Patrick Biancone filly on the lead in Monastella.
Yeah, she ran well, and like a lot of horses here at the Gulfstream Park West meeting, we have to go back 2 or 3 starts to find a turf race. She ran good. On paper, with the previous turf experience, she's absolutely the one to beat. But, going for some prices, that's why we went a couple of different ways, you and I.
We definitely did. We are not going for a price, though, in the second. And you've got a horse in My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, who even in some of these bigger price doubles is a pretty massive favorite. She's got to face 5 horses. She's fast. She's in for the 12-5. And I had a hard time, although she's blown some clear leads in the past, and it really hasn't been that big of a price in her 4 races to date. I had a tough time getting cute with anybody that could really match strides with her for the 12-5.
Yeah, you just think, having the claiming tag sliced, and if she would have been one to be for Louis Ramirez, Marco Meneses handling the drop down. I used Trini Cutie Pie in second, who is second at this level in distance in Kay's Dream, but I think the race goes through the 2, My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
I see Kay's Dream, I automatically think of Michael's wife from The Godfather Part 2. Or ex-wife, as it turned out, right?
Yeah, 2 ex-wife.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get on to the third here. We're back on the turf. We'll go 5 furlongs. You got a 12-5 to 10-5 claiming race. And, again, Safi and Antonio Sano are tied for second in the standings, and they're both 2 wins behind Rohan Crichton. Well, Safi's got the 1-2 punch in the first, and he's got the favorite here, who we went 8-7-9. There's 3 main horses on paper, but the horse to beat, I feel pretty comfortable saying Uncage the Cat off this effort will bring you from Gulfstream Park in early August. Does own, off this effort alone, I feel like he owns the best overall turf performance. Now, he launched this 3-wide move. I liked him on the day. I think, Ronnie, if my memory serves, I think you really liked the 9B Major.
I did.
And, I remember this. And I think that was a Jane Sabelli horse. Right. And you and I just kind of pulled away from the field, and, and my horse couldn't catch your horse. The big issue today I have with Uncage the Cat, it's not this performance, because he improved in this race, second time off a trainer change to Safi. It's the fact that I just was a little unsure about the 5 furlong distance as this horse turns back. What's the turn back on turf stat we have for Safi?
Well, just a route to sprint on the turf. He's 3 for 14, 21%, 64% in the money. 208 is the return of investment. Just over the past couple of years, just curious to see what he did now. I felt the same exact way as you did, and it's why we both put 8 Discreet Tune on top, who's free-falling to the 12-5 level, faced Maiden Special class weight competition going on both turf and dirt, going long and short. And, Joe Orsino, Paco Lopez, Joe trying to get off the duck here at the meeting. I think this might be the spot he can do it.
Yeah, good spot. She's got speed, and again, down in class. We'll take her for Joe. Good guy, good trainer. Hope he can get off the duck here on this penultimate day of racing. Back to the main for the fourth. We'll call this one the co-featured fourth race on this Friday, November the 27th. Good field, clearly led by two fillies that have some pretty gaudy resumes at a number of stake-face fillies in zeroing in on the 3, It's My Lucky Charm, and the number 4, Dream Marie. I don't really have an issue with Dream Marie. She can get a little bit grindy in her races, and in a compact field where she might not get all that much pace to close into, that's a little bit of a concern, but it's hard to argue, Ronnie. I understand why you picked her. She clearly, for 2020 alone, has got the best races and then some. I mean, she's tried the big girls in her division one race after another.
I mean, she followed that fifth in the Grade 2 Black Eyed Susan. She runs second behind a really impressive repeat winner. That Bayesian girl, I think, got a 92 buyer in its next race at this level and distance for Matt Williams. Leonel Reyes, a top graded stakes place. The 3-year-old thought she was the one to beat in that spot.
Now, It's My Lucky Charm for Eddie Plesa, and I know Mike Welsh had a nice write-up on this filly, and more importantly, I think Eddie Plesa and his relationship at Gulfstream Park West, formerly called a race course, and that's worth reading online, or if you have the print edition of today's racing form. And Eddie P's in the mix, trying to get a little mojo going here with It's My Lucky Charm. I personally think she's a better turf horse, yet she has run some solid races on the dirt. And what's Eddie in a situation like this, Ronnie, going turf to dirt?
Yeah, he's turf to dirt all levels. He's 18 for 96, 19%, 45% in the money, 195 is the return of investment. Now, It's My Lucky Charm is a multiple stakes winner on the main track, but both of those races happen to be on off tracks. So we'll see how this horse runs. I really had to struggle with this horse. I was going to either use her in first or second or leave her off, but I just got a feeling she's going to run okay today behind Dream Marie.
Yeah, we'll see how she does against Dream Marie. I'm curious. I don't think the Azalea and the Portofino Bay that she won last summer in 2019, those fields, in hindsight, left a lot to be desired, and I personally think she's a better turf horse. We'll see. But my horse, my horse, the 2, Choose Joy, she's got questions of her own to answer, and I picked her for a couple of reasons. I'd like to think, A, we haven't seen her best yet. She's only run the 3 times, and she's run fine on the dirt. She likes it here at GPW, and I don't know if she's the quality of a Dream Marie or, to an extent, It's My Lucky Charm. But when I drew up the race, Ronnie, I thought she could get as loose as she wanted in this spot with, like, legitimate 3/4 speed stretching out here around 2 turns.
Yeah, I kept going back. That was one of my things. I thought maybe she'd sit a nice trip. I just don't know if she classes up near. So a small, compact field, but you can go a bunch of different ways in that particular race like we did.
Absolutely. We'll go a few ways. Collectively, we'll take a quick timeout together, but it's on to the rainbow, the late pick 5, and a whole lot more right here on GPW Today.
In the 2 path. Ground on first inside. Race. A 1/4 mile to go, and he's 6 yards out. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Nice day here in Miami Gardens. Our final Friday in history at Gulfstream Park West. We are fast, we are firm. That turf course is going to see a lot of use over the next few hours. And as Jason and Ronnie welcome you back, and once again, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We'll get back in the swing of things, and we'll take a stab here, Ronnie. I mean, $450K guaranteed in this second-to-last rainbow of the meet.
Yeah, 43-20 for me, and you got my long shot in this one, and that is Graham Malbec, 8-1 on the morning line, a 7-time winner. I used the old 10-year-old Oaks Bluffs Black Jet, and then 2 deep in race number 6 with Audrey and Najwa in that race, and then went down and just used a bunch of horses there, got some coverage. And in the last race, I used those 2 horses in there, Tony's Road and Gitana. 43-20 for me. See if I could get it today before the mandatory payout tomorrow.
All right, big news with the mandatory tomorrow afternoon. Getting down to business once again, you've got a 5th race field where there's a lot going on, of course, and I'm not sure who the horse to beat is. Do you think maybe it's the 2 Oak Bluffs, as he's back from Jersey running for 12.5 at this stage of his career?
Yeah, he's the one to beat in my estimation. I had him on top, but then I started looking at this race, and I said, I'm going to maybe take a little bit of a price with, as I mentioned, Grand Malbec in there. Just thought he's he had a tough outside post last time, going 7.5 furlongs. So I just thought he's in the 7-time winner at this abbreviated distance. Maybe he sits the trip for a price.
Grand Malbec, your long shot. He's been a little inconsistent after racking up so many wins consecutively earlier in his career, yet I hear you. I gave him a long look because 2 and 3 back are his 2 recent races going this trip, and it did seem like he was starting to maybe round back into better form.
Yeah, like I say, Oaks Bluff, 10-year-old. How many does he have left in the bank? We'll see with him. A good race, but
it is a good race. I'm taking a shot. I like Georgina's horses here, led by our boy Bodie, who I think at this, again, much like in Oak Bluffs, at this stage of the game, I think he's a good fit for 12.5. I also wanted to go back because he has not started since right around Labor Day weekend, give or take, in early September. I wanted to show the trip that he pulled because he didn't run all that well against a much better field, mind you, but got a little bit of a bug boy ride going back. He had Joe Treos when Joe had the apprenticeship and just was never in a comfortable spot, kind of jammed up, chasing between horses. You saw the steady, lost his action for a couple of strides, and just was never able to really rally thereafter with too strong of a punch there in a race where they just weren't coming back. The winner of this race, in fact, Red Cap, rolled up outside and fully loaded, and Harry's on the Loose, who would come back and beat your best bet a bit later today, was up close inside. So I like our boy Bodie, and I think Black Jet again, who's another 9-year-old. In fact, you got a 10 and 9-year-old, much like Oak Bluffs. He's a major player. Second half of the card begins. We're on the main track. We'll start the late pick 5. And I think Naj was the horse to beat here. I did not pick her, and therefore I didn't single her. I'm trying to get some improvement here, second out with KO's horse, the 6 Hot Babe, but more on her in a few seconds. A fairly straightforward ticket. 7th race is a pretty nice maiden special weight for the fillies on the turf, and then you've got, of course, races 8 and 9 playing part in today's Stronach 5 with the carryover. I've got informed horses in both of those races, and just like Ronnie's Rainbow, I wrapped it up with Gitana and Tony's Rose. I just think with those horses, you're getting the best of both worlds. The dominant speed with Gitana and the best, most consistent closer in the race in Tony's Rose for Ken Sweezy. But again, getting back to Najwa in this spot, she's down in class, and I really think this is a race where she can potentially break through and shine through. What do you make of her in this spot? Again, she dips in for 16 for Ken McPeak.
She drops in. They're going to put the blinkers on. She faced tougher in both local starts, going this 7 furlong distance. Good spot for Kenny, and Edgar Prado atop this $125,000 daughter of Speitzer. I thought she was okay. Did go with Audrey on top of my ticket, who's stretching out to 7/8, has responded to the return to the 16 level with a rallying second, going 6.5. Thought off that performance with Edgard, maybe would be the one to beat Najwa today, and My Glory to close it out.
And Audrey's run fine for 16. I'm going into this, though, hoping this is a better field. Just from the class dips the class dip of Najwa combined with 2 second-time starting fillies, I'm viewing this as maybe a deeper field than the race that Audrey comes out of, and she's already run a couple times for 16 without winning, which I don't like. Now, Hot Babe, you don't know. I mean, the catch-22 is you don't really know if she can be competitive here for 16, but she was off legitimately slow. I mean, really walked out of the starting gate in her debut for Kathleen, who's just an excellent trainer to begin with, but very good with her second-time starting maiden claiming horses, and her barn's really come alive here the last couple of weeks. 6 winners over the last 15 days. So I'm trying to get Hot Babe home second time out. 7th race, is an interesting maiden special weight field, no doubt about it. It won't play part in the Stronach 5, but this might be my favorite race, second half of the card. You've got a couple of key shippers, one for Brendan Walsh, who you have capping your super, and the 3 Sing Me Home, who I have third. And I would imagine she may fire the best race she ever has because of just competition might be a little more like it. You, however, also like the shipper who's bounced around from Jersey to New York to Maryland, who is 0 for 12, but tell us, aside from the 0 for 12, which I don't like, what do you like about the one lady, Rosalie?
Well, she's a half-sister to $1 Million Earner and Super Sire, Super Front, debuting locally for Brittany Russell. After that consistent maiden special weight campaign up north, got Joe Bravo in the saddle today. Just like the breeding on this horse. Wanted to see maybe this horse can wake up and win one here. And Brittany Russell just having this fantastic meeting up north, but winning at like 20-something%, taking a little bit of a shot. With that said, the horse that you have on top, Anything Goes, I thought was the one to beat.
Yeah, I guess she could be the one to beat in this race. It would be close in my mind between her and Michelle's horse, Nihei's horse in Aizu. But, Anything Goes is one of 2 fillies trained by Safi in this race. And, going back and watching her turf debut here right around Breeders' Cup time, she just looked a little one-paced and grindy to my eyes. And she struck me, she didn't run all that well, if I'm being honest. But, I thought she would be a filly that would like stretching out. Now, we evidently jumped the gun on the replay here, but this is Aizu. This is a different horse. And Michelle Nihei is setting out this filly who just ran fine. And I think with her, for me, the comforting factor with this daughter of Japan, Ronnie, and Aizu, I like the rider change to Luca, and she's about to drift in there in the purple cap. She'll finish third behind Spin Your Partner and Laughable. And, I think there's something to be said in a race like this where you have a couple of key shippers. You've got my horse who's never gone long, even though I think she's going to like stretching out. There's something to be said for a recent strong race going 2 turns on this turf course here at GPW.
Yeah, she broke from post 10. I thought it was a really good performance. She rallied to finish third, as you just saw. For Michelle Luca Panici, I think she's a major player in that spot, too. So we'll see how the 5 runs there. Got her up. You got her in second. I have her in third.
You've got a couple of key last-out winners and some very relevant win streaks as we turn the page. We'll move on to Friday's 8th race, a 12-5 to 10-5 3-up filly mare Claimer in this spot. You're down inside. Who do you have here? You've got Bahamian. What are you trying to wire this thing?
No, I got the number. Race 8, I have the 3 horse in here. I'm a devil.
Oh, good. Yeah, let's get
Daredevil.
on to the 8th race here.
Yeah.
We'll flip the page. We'll move on to race number 8. And let's start with the 3 I'm a Daredevil. I don't know if you're. I think she's 9-2 on the morning line.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. But what I do know is you've got a barn who is, again, currently leading trainer. It does feel, and this is something I wrote my analysis today, this meet alone with Rohan, I feel like he's had a number of horses with the makeup of the 3 I'm a Daredevil. Horses that may run towards the lower rung of the class scale or ladder here on this circuit, but they've gotten good and they've been able to carry that good recent form race after race after race.
Yeah, we'll show you that stat on it. This is just over the last 90 days with a winner last out on the dirt. He's 7 for 15, 47%, 67% in the money, 270. I just wanted to show you how good he's been doing right here at the Gulfstream Park West meeting. So I'm a Daredevil. She's on top of my ticket with Free to Fly. And Brooks O'Mine, what a performance last time out from the Peter Walder, much the best victory.
And she's got races on the go back. And Peter, this is his MO, trying to find horses with some back class that maybe aren't all that sharp, and he's able to tease out some of that old back class, and I think that's what we're dealing with, or at least I'd like to think that's the case. And like her, as she ostensibly tries a tougher field for the 12-5 here. Baccarat Fashion, the ex-Walder horse. What do you make of her now as she really bumps up in class after losing last time out as a heavy favorite? She doesn't have a lot of early speed.
Yeah, I thought maybe this was not a good spot for that running style that she has in here. And I thought the race goes through I'm a Daredevil. I could understand Brooks O'Mine, Peter, and I used all of these horses on my Stronach 5. If you're not aware, this is one of the Stronach 5 races. And Free to Fly moved to the Elizabeth Dobles. Well, maybe this horse can run well in there. Turning back, followed that 12-5 12-5 victory, driving score against those 2 lifetime runners. Edgard Zayas, maybe that horse wakes up
Yeah,
today.
what price, actually? You got the
Yeah.
small program. What price is Rohan's horse, the 3?
The 3 is 9-2.
Yeah, so she's 4.5 to
Yeah.
1. Okay, we'll see if she's that high a price. I didn't see it that way
Right.
and thought she was the horse to beat. But an interesting 8th race, no doubt about it. 9th begins an all-turf late double here, late in the card. We've got a Florida-bred allowance optional claimer going 5 furlongs. 3 potentially key horses are coming out of the same race here, and Ronnie and I like different horses out of the October 9th race I'm going to reference right now. You've got the 8 Armand Joe, the 7 Cantharos' Image, who hands down ran the best race. And, you know, I looked around, Ronnie. Henry's World may not stack up against this field in talent and class, but he is fast, and I think this is a better post for him. And I get he's got his own questions to answer. Is he this kind? But I'm going to try to blast off and wire this field with the 2 Henry's World. I'm hoping Kathleen has a big day. And I was looking for the 2 speeds to run 1-2 here around the turf course with Armand Joe in the 2nd spot. But I also respect your horse, Cantharos' Image, who, again, for my eyes, is coming in out of the best recent race on this turf, sprinting this trip.
And that race was after a 10-mud layoff to come within ahead of defeating, we're going to call it his nemesis, Harry on the Loose. Last time he faced this horse was 10 months ago. He lost him. He comes back. He loses to him again. 4 Steve Caceres. So I'm going back with Edgard, hard-knocking 7-year-old. Frenchman Street, going to Carlos David Barn. I thought that would be an interesting horse. The barn is really good with new claims. And Armand Joe, just because he's Armand Joe, he always runs a good race.
With the exception of his last start where he didn't pick up his feet. But the fact that he's back without a layoff and not trying claiming company, I'm just going to draw a line through that last race. And I'm thinking Armand Joe, who loses Joe Treos not riding him today. Lionel will be in the irons. He's going to run a far better race in a solid 9th race field on the turf. We end things, and Georgina could have a big day. I'm hoping she does, in fact, because I'm taking her Gitana from the rail to wire this thing in the 10th. Just no issue with her race off the claim and that big early speed. But I think in many respects, the 4 Tony's Rose, who's already done things on the turf at this level, might be the filly to beat. We'll roll her last race, Ronnie, and you can take us through. What you see is what you get. She's sharp. She's pretty consistent for a 12-5 turf sprinting claimer. And I see no reason to think why she wouldn't run well today. And again, I think this horse and Gitana, who you have second, they complement each other quite nicely. One's a speed, and one's more of a grindy closer here in that red cap.
Yeah, you know, she's getting, this was, you know, at the $25,000 level, and I thought she ran exceptionally well. And talking about guys that had great Gulfstream Park West meetings, Ken Sweezy, you know, I just thought this horse on the drop was the one to beat, Gitana, for all the reasons you mentioned. I thought those were the logical two in both my Rainbow Six, and of course that is also part of the Stronach 5.
It is indeed part of the Stronach 5. Races 8 and 9 are part of the Stronach 5. And the 10th race, of course, Rainbow and the late pick 5. Both of those cash out there. But that's down the line. We're just getting warmed up as we turn the reins over to track announcer Gabe Pruitt up in the booth.